Testosterone makes a man what he is. Testosterone regulates a man's sex drive, fat distribution, blood cells, sperm, and muscle mass. The more you have of it, the better off you tend to be. But what people don't tell you is just how much of a difference it can make. Alan Ritchson, aka Jack Reacher, is one of the most jacked actors in Hollywood right now. He built his physique with years of hard work just like everybody else, but we think that's only half of the story. Testosterone and genetics are the other half. In this video, we'll be discussing testosterone and how much of an effect it had on Alan's physical development while he was training for Reacher. But we won't be stopping there. We'll also be taking a deeper look at the hormone and discussing the various physical and mental benefits increased testosterone can have in your development long term. As a tiny little bonus, we'll be going over several medically prescribed practices to boost your natural testosterone levels. Decent testosterone levels can quite literally make or break a young man's life. Before Alan Ritchson was the statuesque figure of muscle and manliness he is today, he was a teenager who was more famous for his singing voice and acting chops. He was so good at singing that he was granted a full ride to college. According to Alan in a Men's Journal interview, his growth spurt didn't come in until he was 18. Everything changed when his testosterone levels spiked and his body began to undergo all of the rapid developments teenage boys see in the later stages of puberty. He experienced increased bone density and growth of facial hair, and muscle growth, and Alan took advantage of all that and hit the gym hard. By the time he was in his early 20s, Alan's physique was cut above the standard Hollywood body. He was blonde, 6'2", and weighed 200 to 205 pounds with very little fat, and he had no problems finding a modeling gig with Abercrombie & Fitch when he moved out to Los Angeles. In 2006, he made his first big screen appearance playing Aquaman in Smallville, and then moved on to playing Thad Castle, the football captain in the hit Spike TV show Blue Mountain State. Post-2012, Alan's biggest role was playing Raphael in live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, and starring in the sci-fi and CW shows Blood Drive and Titans. He was also in Fast X. There's no doubt in our minds that Alan Ritchson climbed up to the height he did because of his acting chops and connections, but there's no doubt that his physique and good looks opened a few doors for him, and Alan owes that physique to testosterone. For men, testosterone is the fountain of youth. It makes it easier to put on more muscle and increase your strength while keeping your body fat low. It also plays a key role in maintaining your bone mineral density, keeping your libido high, and stabilizing your mood, all things the average man wants in spades. If you're between the ages of 19 and 39, you should have about 289 to 960 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone flowing in your veins. Alan has been pretty tight-lipped about his testosterone levels, but based on studies and medical knowledge, it's easy to determine that he must have maintained fairly high testosterone levels throughout his career. He has a consistent physique and a full head of hair, and is missing many of the other physical indicators of low testosterone, such as a reduced sex drive, less beard growth, obesity, depression, and fatigue. Low testosterone is a side effect of some medical conditions like cancer and low thyroid function, or a genetic predisposition, but in a lot of cases, it's the consequence of poor dietary choices. Obese people tend to have lower testosterones than fitter, active teenagers and young men. So in a way, testosterone works like a strange self-fulfilling prophecy that works for both sides. The more you exercise and look after what you eat, the higher your testosterone level climbs, and vice versa. Maybe that's why Alan Ritchson was able to pull off the most memorable physical performance of his career after he was cast as Jack Reacher in 2020. Jack Reacher, the titular main character of 29-book series by the thriller novelist Lee Child, was described as a giant of a man with hands like Christmas turkeys, who had to go sideways through doors. Alan was nowhere near that when he landed the role. He needed to put on 30 pounds of muscle to become Reacher during the pandemic. In an interview with Men's Journal, Alan said he tackled the challenge head-on. He set up a gym in his kitchen, started using weights again, and started on a monster diet of 4,500 calories. It took him 8 long months of grinding to get the work done, but by the end, he was Jack Reacher. What Alan did for most men of his age and size should have been impossible. However, considering that he maintained a lean weight of 205 year-round for over a decade, all without routinely using free weights, it does make sense he was able to reach the monstrous size that he did for Season 1 of Reacher. Most men will never come close to 235 pounds of muscle, even on anabolics, and it drives home how important having naturally high testosterone is. While Alan had exceptional genetics, would have never reached his physical and mental potential without healthy, balanced hormones, and neither will you. You'll be glad to know that most of the effective methods of naturally increasing and maintaining your testosterone levels are easy and common sense. You're likely doing some of them now, but we think it's vital to know what else you could be doing. Exercise and lift weights. A 2020 study on the effects of exercise on testosterone reported temporary spikes in men's testosterone levels post-exercise. It concluded that the subjects experienced various levels of testosterone based on the type of exercise they performed, whether resistance or endurance, and the rest period they took after the fact. Eat healthy fats, carbs, and proteins. Testosterone levels in the body are affected by nutrients and minerals like zinc, magnesium, selenium, and vitamin D. Foods rich in these can help you raise your levels. Add salmon, leafy greens, cacao products, avocados, eggs, berries, and shellfish into your diet if you want your natural testosterone levels to be higher. Minimize stress and cortisol levels. Stress has a ton of negative effects on the body, and one of the biggest ones just happens to be lower testosterone levels. When you're stressed and your cortisol level spikes, your testosterone typically drops in response. Furthermore, high cortisol levels can often lead to an increase in food intake, weight gain, and fat, which does no favors for your testosterone levels either. Consider multivitamins and other supplementations. There have been several studies that have linked zinc supplementation to an increase in testosterone levels. Other herbal supplements like palmetto, ginger, and ashwagandha have also been shown to help. Get quality sleep. Studies have shown that sleep fragmentation and obstructive sleep apnea are associated with reduced testosterone levels in young men. If you've not been getting at least 6 hours of sleep every night, you might not be at your optimum testosterone levels. Watch your alcohol intake. There's some truth to the stereotype that alcohol causes erectile dysfunction. A study shows that it can affect Leydig cells in the testes, which produce and secrete testosterone. If you have a drinking habit, kicking it can be an effective way to up your testosterone levels. How testosterone affects your mental health. An often understated component to succeeding at the gym and life in general is mental health. And you'll be surprised to know that testosterone also plays a big component in that for men. In addition to being the primary sex hormone, testosterone also acts as a mood stabilizer in men. The cells in our brains are equipped with testosterone receptors. Too much or too little can lead to mood swings, irritability, stress, anxiety, and depression. So, your body and mind will likely be a wreck if your testosterone is out of whack. Alan Ritchson experienced some of that after completing his training for Reacher. In the days leading up to the release of Season 2 of the hit Amazon series, Alan admitted that he will need testosterone to keep up with the rigors that playing Reacher demanded. During training, he tore the acromioclavicular joint in his shoulder, which he needed surgery for, and his body was ravaged by stress and exhaustion. There was a huge imbalance in hormones in my body. I was falling apart. So while I made it, his physique happened. It's probably true that it shouldn't have happened that fast, that way. With his body not being quite what it used to be, and him reaching the age that his testosterone naturally declined, getting on testosterone therapy was how he was going to make it through the coming seasons of Reacher. As a young man at the start of your journey, testosterone is vitally important. It can mean the difference between a satisfying social and professional life and drowning in issues you might not completely understand. If you eat well, exercise, maintain a generally active lifestyle, and take the occasional supplement, you should have no issues keeping yours high. If you like this video, you'll love our next one about cracking women's attraction code.